STED microscopy, I can explain that a little bit briefly. Of course, originates from Göttingen, just from nearby here, and it's the first viable concept and then technology that overcame the diffraction barrier of light microscopy. Yeah. You'll know from high school physics that a normal light microscope is limited in its ability to resolve very small structures to around half a micron or so 500 nanometers of the visible wavelength of light. And this concept of STED microscopy, in principle, shattered this limit, shattered the limiting effect of diffraction, Beugung in German, that set this constraint, this half a micron constraint. Yeah? And the way it works, it fundamentally it puts the agent that makes things visible, the fluorophore, the GFP molecule or the organic dye, puts that sort of center stage and plays with that in the sense that there is the realization of the genius insight of Stefan Hell. There's an on state and off state, and you can manipulate both. And this transition, if you will, is call it very non-linear. It's either off or on, and by sort of feeding these two states, you can effectively reduce the size of the activation area of your fluorescence, in the case of a fluorescence microscope, to a spot that is much smaller than what's prescribed by the diffraction limit. Yeah? So specifically or concretely in a STED microscope, you have an excitation laser, produces a small diffraction limited spot, yeah? And then you superimpose a second laser, which does exactly the opposite, which de-excites the fluorescence, prohibits the fluorescence everywhere except for in a small central region. And then if you overlay the two together, you end up with an excitation spot that's greatly reduced in size. Yeah? And then you use that to scan the sample in a classic way, like in a confocal or regular 2-photon microscope. Yeah?